Hi, I'm Stacy, and today we're going to put together some blueberry streusel muffins. So the first thing we're going to do is combine 3 cups of all-purpose flour with 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and we'll whisk this first batch of ingredients together before we add some of our wet ingredients. All right, so now we're going to add in 2/3 cup of oil. You can choose any kind you want. I have avocado oil, and then 2/3 cup of milk and 2 eggs. So I'm going to switch over to this Danish dough whisk. It's much better with stickier types of dough. And when you're making blueberry muffins, it's okay if the dough is a little bit lumpy. This isn't like a thin dough like you would for any kind of batter. It's much more thicker. Let me just show you kind of thing. Okay, and now we're going to be adding in 2 cups of blueberries. Now I'm using frozen blueberries, and if you're going to use frozen blueberries, you need to add a couple tablespoons of flour to them. That's going to help to keep them suspended in the dough. If you want to use fresh blueberries, you won't have to add the extra flour. So now we're just going to mix this up. At this point, I'm just going to put on my gloves and give this a good mix. I like using an ice cream scoop when I'm putting this in here. We want to make this particular dough go all the way up to the rim of the cups. So it's going to be a little bit different than what we're used to doing. But I still will probably do just slightly below, just to see, only because we're going to be putting on the streusel crumb. Okay, so I have these almost to the very tippy top, but I'm going to set this aside now and make the streusel topping. Okay, so the first thing we need for our streusel topping is going to be 1/2 cup of butter. If it's a little bit soft, that's exactly what you want. Mine's on a little bit of the hard side simply because it's kind of cold in the house today, but we will work with that anyway. Then I'm going to add in 1 cup of granulated sugar and 2/3 cup of all-purpose flour. And last but not least, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. Now for this, I am going to wear a glove for it because it does make it easier to work with. And I'm just going to mix it with my hands and kind of crush up that butter. Okay, so now I have this all crumbly, and we're just going to top off our muffins. Just take clumps of them and kind of sprinkle them over the top of each one. It's going to get kind of messy here. Streusel topping has got that crispy crunchiness to the top of it, and sometimes you can even add chopped nuts if you really want to, but for this I'm not going to. Not for blueberry muffins anyway. Maybe if I was doing more of a pumpkin muffin or something. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the 350-degree oven for about 15 to 25 minutes, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So the muffins are done, and it took a little bit longer for these ones to cook because they're the jumbo size. I just wanted to let you know it does make 6 jumbo muffins, and it can probably make at least a dozen of the regular size. So anyways, they turned out great, and I hope you have a happy time baking. Bye!